everyone, my name is Leah and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about my anticipated releases for the first quarter of 2021, so January, February, and March. I'm really excited to talk about these books. I first want to mention that this isn't all of the books that are coming out that I want to read. There are a lot of books that are coming out I want to read that aren't on this list, but when I made my initial list, even having it being ones that I definitely wanted to read, the list was like 25 to 30 books, and I was like, I can't talk about that many books in one video. So I decided to narrow it down to the ones I'm really excited for. So these are 15 books that I am so excited for that are coming out in the first few months of 2021. But like I said, there are others coming out that I really do want to read, so if one that you're really excited for isn't on this list, I might already know about it and be excited for it. It's just not in my absolute most anticipated. The first book that I want to mention is Lore by Alexandra Bracken, which comes out January 5th. I read Alexandra Bracken's The Darkest Mind series. Well, I read books 1 and 2. I never finished the series. That's actually a book I own that I need to get to at some point. And I also read the first book in her Passenger duology, which I also have not finished, and I need to do that. So when I found out that she had a book coming out with ties to Greek mythology, I was so excited because I love Greek mythology. So this book takes place in modern New York City, and years ago 9 of the Greek gods rebelled, and now every 7 years those Greek gods have to walk the earth as mortals, and they are hunted by people who are descendants of ancient bloodlines who want to kill them and get their power. The main character, Lore, wants nothing to do with any of this because of events that happened in her past, but some things happen in the book that might draw her back into everything. This just sounds really intriguing. Like I said, I've enjoyed Alexandra Bracken's other work, so I am excited to pick this up. The next book I'm excited for is Across the Green Grass Fields by Shauna Maguire, which comes out January 12th. This is the next installment in her Wayward Children series, which I have read all of. I am so excited for this next installment, and I'm especially intrigued because from the sounds of it, this book I think is following completely new characters. So I'm really intrigued to see some new characters and see if I like it as much. It sounds interesting. The next book is Winterkeep by Kristen Cashore, which is coming out on January 19th. I am so excited for this. This is the next installment in the Graceling Realm series. This was originally a trilogy of all 3 Graceling books, Graceling, Fire, and Bitterblue, and now years later there's a 4th installment coming out. I read the first 2 books, Graceling and Fire, in 2020 and really liked them, and I'm going to be reading Bitterblue and Winterkeep this year, and I'm actually going to be reading Graceling and Fire for a book club, as well as then reading Winterkeep and Bitterblue. So if you have any interest in those series and also other series that this book club is going to be reading, I will link all of the info down below, and that's the Finish That Series book club. I have not looked at any synopsis for this book because I do not want to spoil myself at all for Bitterblue, so I have no idea what this book is about. I think there's multiple point of views, and that's kind of the only thing I know. That's all I want to know right now. The next book is Wings of Ebony by J.L., and this comes out January 26th. This is a YA urban fantasy that sounds really interesting. The main character is from Houston, and a lot of things start happening to her. Her mother is killed and she gets taken away by her father, so she gets separated from her sister, and then she finds out that she has godly ancestry. So I think this book is dealing both with that and also what happened to her mother and things going on back in her hometown of Houston. This sounds really interesting and I'm really looking forward to reading it. The next thing is a graphic novel, and that is Girl Haven by Lila Sturgis, Megan Carter, and Jamette Gill. This comes out February 9th, and I've actually already read this. I read an arc of this on NetGalley, but I'm looking forward to the finished copy getting out because I really enjoyed it. This is a very cute graphic novel that follows the main character Ash. While Ash uses he/him pronouns at the beginning of the graphic novel, a big part of it is Ash's journey and realization that she might be a transgender girl, and by the end of the graphic novel she goes by she/her pronouns, so those are the pronouns that I'm going to use when talking about her. Ash's mother disappeared years ago, and Ash is now living in her childhood home, where Ash's mother came up with this fantasy world called Courtress, which is a kind of haven for girls where no men or boys are allowed. Ash and her new friends from school are kind of in for a shock when they are magically transported to this world and find out that it might actually be real after all, and there's more to everything than it seems. This graphic novel has self-discovery, fantasy adventures, and a cast of characters that I'm pretty sure all of the main characters are queer. I really enjoyed this, and I really liked Ash as a main character. The next book is Fireheart Tiger by Aliette de Bodard, and I'm really excited for this. This actually also comes out February 9th, and this is a sapphic fantasy novella that has political intrigue, which checks so many boxes for me. This is pitched as The Goblin Emperor meets Howl's Moving Castle, which is also so fascinating. I haven't read In the Vanisher's Palace, which is by the same author, though I have been meaning to and I really want to, and I'm looking forward to hopefully reading that this year and reading this book this year. Next is another February 9th release, and that is The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. This is a YA high fantasy, and this follows the main character Decca, who is about to go through the blood ceremony in her village that will determine whether she can become a member of her village. But in the ceremony, she finds out that she does not have red pure blood. Her blood is gold and impure, and I believe this would lead her to have a terrible fate. I'm not sure if people with gold blood are killed or what the situation is, but it is very much looked down upon. But then someone comes to her village and gives her the option of going to fight for the emperor with other girls like her, Alaki, who are near immortals with gifts. This sounds really interesting. Also, the cover of this is really cool, and I'm really excited to pick this up. The next book I'm so excited for is A Dark and Hollow Star by Ashley Shuttleworth, which comes out February 23rd. This is a YA fantasy following 4 different queer teens. This has fae characters forming a kind of tenuous alliance because they are forced together by necessity, and they have to find the truth behind some ritualistic murders that are affecting both the mortal and immortal realms. I'm so excited for this. The cover of this is cool. I'm excited for some queer characters. It's sapphic. I'm so excited. Next is Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers, which is also coming out on February 23rd. This is an FF romance which follows the main character Grace, who goes to Vegas to celebrate after getting her PhD, and she ends up drunkenly getting married to a woman that she just met. Then, struggling with expectations for herself as well as struggling with expectations that her father puts on her, she ends up going on a trip for the summer to visit the wife that she barely knows in New York City. I usually have like zero interest in the drunkenly getting married to someone you don't know trope, but it sounds really interesting in this book and also sapphic. Next is Sweet and Bitter Magic by Adrienne Tooley, which comes out on March 9th. This is a sapphic YA fantasy. If people watching this didn't already know my brand is sapphic, I feel like some of these books are making it very clear. This follows a witch who's cursed never to love, who meets a girl who is hiding some magic of her own. They end up striking a bargain to figure out who a dark witch that is causing a plague is, and the cover of this is so sapphic. I'm so excited. The next thing is another graphic novel, and that is Delicates by Brenna Thumler. This comes out March 16th, and this is the follow-up to Sheets, which was an earlier graphic novel from Brenna Thumler, and I don't want to say too much about the plot since it is a sequel. I think I actually liked this better than Sheets. I especially liked the art. I thought this had some emotionally impactful storylines, and I really enjoyed the direction that it went in. The next thing is Lost in the Never Woods by Aiden Thomas, which comes out on March 23rd. I read Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas in 2020 and really enjoyed it, so I'm looking forward to reading another book by them. This is a Peter Pan retelling with some mystery elements, and I love mystery elements, so I'm really looking forward to that. Also, the cover is just gorgeous, and I love the purples. It's just really pretty. The next book is Bruised by Tanya Bateju, which is also coming out on March 23rd. Can we just stop to talk about how sapphic the cover is? It's so sapphic. This is a YA contemporary that follows the main character as she discovers the world of roller derby. I am so excited for this. It looks like it's going to explore the main character a lot as a character. It looks like it's going to explore roller derby, and just the sapphic cover. One of my friends said that this book cover looks like it was made for me, which is so true. There's literally a side shave on the book cover, and I have a side shave. Like, I'm so excited. Next is The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke, which also comes out March 23rd. There's so many books coming out March 23rd I'm really excited for. This is the first book in a sapphic adult fantasy series. Sapphic adult fantasy, give it all to me, please. This is North African inspired, and it follows a soldier named Terrain, who is the buff woman on the cover, and a princess named Luca. This looks like it's going to have a lot of political intrigue. I am so excited for this. And finally, the last book of the video. This is coming out March 30th, and that is The Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo. This is the sequel to King of Scars, which takes place after the Grisha trilogy and the Six of Crows duology, and honestly, I don't know that much about it because I have not read King of Scars yet. Is it slightly silly of me to be anticipating a book that I haven't read the first book in the series of? Perhaps. Is it still on my most anticipated? Yes. Maybe I'll finally read King of Scars this year so then I can read Rule of Wolves. I started King of Scars last year, and by started I mean I opened it, I read like 2 pages, and then I never picked it up again. So that's where I'm at with King of Scars. But hopefully I will actually read that this year, and hopefully I enjoy it because Rule of Wolves is on my most anticipated, so I better enjoy it. I don't know, I'm slightly scared to read it. But those are my top 15 anticipated releases of the first quarter of 2021. I will probably be doing more of these videos for the other quarters of 2021. Also, I'll probably do April through June, July through September, and then October through December sometime later this year. Please let me know your most anticipated releases of 2021. Let me know if there's any in here that you're anticipating or any in here that you learned about because of this video that you are now interested in. I'd love to hear that. If you don't want to comment one of those things and you've made it this far, let's say comment one of your favorite emojis. I hope you enjoyed watching this. If you did, you can hit the like button and also hit subscribe to my channel. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Oh, this was filming this whole time. I put my camera on video just to see what the setup looked like, and apparently while I was moving stuff around, it was filming this entire time. Hold on, I hear children in the hallway. Living in an apartment building. So this book takes place in modern and I'm actually going to be rereading Graceling and